Wiisdom here. It is July 4th, or as I like to call it, Independence Day, because apparently I offend people. Clock struck 12. I was recording some Skylanders research, missed a cat, and went in and I was like, hey, Independence Day, woohoo! And people are trying to have 4th of July, and that trend, and no one seems to know anymore that it's not just a random day that fireworks are shot off and people have cookouts and barbecue. It's Independence Day, a fairly significant day. And I guess, I don't know, people don't teach that anymore, or it's frowned upon. It's kind of like people that call Christmas Xmas. I don't do that. Christmas is Christmas. I keep the Christ in it. And similarly, July 4th, while it's a fantastic day, it's Independence Day. That's why July 4th is special. July 5th was tomorrow, July 3rd was yesterday, but only July 4th is Independence Day. So I could go on, and I apparently I need to, because I guess people don't understand history anymore, but hey, what can you do? That said, I hope everybody has a great Independence Day with your friends and family, gets to see some fireworks, blow some stuff up safely, if at all possible. Maybe have a cookout, concert, whatever floats your boat. Ride around in your hot rod. Just enjoy being in America and the freedoms that it gives us all. So for everyone else, I hope you have a great 4th of July. If you're across the pond in Europe or Australia or New Zealand or down in Tasmania, wherever you may be, hopefully you all have a fantastic Tuesday, July 4th. But if you're in America, I hope you have a fantastic Independence Day. So it carries a lot of weight overseas as well. But anyway, won't go into that side of my life. But we unboxed Diddy Kong here in the Super Mario series. You can see him there. The Super Mario series, such a fantastic line of the amiibo. I really need, I guess, Peach, Yoshi, and then, of course, Goomba and Koopa will be coming this October. I'm insanely excited about those two. I think they're going to look phenomenal. That's it. I'd mentioned, you can see the barcode back there. I've moved it forward now, so everyone should be able to guess. But very, very late tonight, like 9 o'clock, 8:39, somewhere in that frame, I released today's video because of the storms and everything that have been happening, where we unboxed Diddy Kong, and I said, hey, feel free to guess. And Taco King threw down a guess. I guess he's the first one to have done so, and he got it right, because it is Boo. I've had this guy cooking in the windowsill since I got home from work. Granted, a good chunk of that time it was like overcast and hailing, but I'm hoping he picked up a little bit of sunlight. So, the Boo amiibo, notice any changes from where I last left off? Well, if you're astute to that sort of thing, it's 2 more batteries over there, because they're pathetic. That last video was like 10 minutes, and that's apparently all the batteries are good for. So, that said, one of the coolest amiibo, in my opinion, is the Boo amiibo. And this is, again, in the Super Mario series. It's got the red base there, the very cool, in my opinion anyway, sort of silver and white tiled base there. And the neatest thing, not that GameStop would want you to know, is that this guy, can you do this? Usually you can tear these off without ripping the packaging, if you're careful. And we did until the very end. What can I say? Glows in the dark. Fantastic, right? And yet it glows in the dark, but he doesn't have that like nasty look to him. Like typically when, especially Toys to Life glows in the dark, it's like this, yeah, you know, it's like that chalky, you can tell it's glow in the dark. Boo, at least through the packaging, genuinely looks white, like he's like a little cotton ball with a ghoul face, if you will. Thing with this guy, I really, really wanted it, but I was trying to save money. Funds are tight. YouTube isn't what it used to be. And at least for people that don't use clickbait like myself or sell their soul to a third-party network. Anyway, so $12.99 is standard retail. You can see back here, I mentioned it, we got Diddy Kong on sale, $8.97. That's what we picked up Daisy for, a couple of the others. In fact, the majority of these that are readily available, you can ascertain for $8.97 now. Boo has never been on sale, and these batteries are about to die. Fantastic. With that being the case, and with it being Nintendo, and we all know how prone they are to market savviness as of the last several years, this is not something that I wanted to miss out on. Sure, I could hold out and hope I could save $4.02 at some point in time. Boo's cool. I was in there. It was available. Actually, the first GameStop I went to, it was gone. And so that's when I kind of got nervous. and he's been scalped online for quite some time. So when I was in another GameStop later in the day, they had 3 of them. I thought, you know, I should probably pull the trigger on this. So the fact that he was never put on sale tells me that he A, sold really well, or B, there just weren't as many of them and the retailers know it. So plus another selling point to me personally, knowing that Goomba and Koopa are coming, that's just going to look fantastic in terms of display opportunities. So I have to say though, his packaging is phenomenal. The contrast provided by the black, I don't know what it is, but I love it. And like Diddy Kong here, I mean, it's his color scheme. It's very playful, very colorful, but put that side by side and tell me you're not going to be more inclined to pick up Boo. Plus he glows in the freaking dark, man. You know, which, as best I remember, I don't believe we've had any amiibo glow in the dark, so this is kind of a cool deal. At least I don't own any that glow in the dark. If they do glow in the dark, I don't know about it. This is cool. It's kind of like, you know, the undead bases glowed in the dark, but then sometimes you'd have like Stealth Elf's pose, and those would glow in the dark too, and you didn't know about it. Anyway, I've got to say, this is just classic Boo. I mean, there's really not much to say. It looks like Boo. Luckily, they did this pose. I could see Nintendo coming out with another Boo where he's like covering his face, and that would be really sad, but I could see him doing it. So at least here initially with his first run, they have done the right thing in my opinion. But if we flip it around here, if you got a Wii U, that is your NFC touch point. If you got a new 3DS, it's on the touch screen. If you're like me with an old school 3DS, you need that little NFC reader. And of course on the Nintendo Switch, which they still don't showcase on this packaging, you've just got your touch points that you can utilize. But you can use him in Mario Party Star Rush, you can see there. It looks pretty good in game as well. I wish there was a Boo racing suit in Mario Kart. That would kind of be a cool little add-on. Seems like they could come up with a couple more custom racing suits like that. But check it out. You can bring Boo to the party with a special in-game item. But look at that. Glows in the dark. Freaking sweet, right? So, let's go ahead and open this guy up. And I have to say, the fireworks have died off, so I think everybody's just like going to bed, getting geared up for tomorrow. I'm going to render this video out just because I've got that project open, and then I'll render out the Skylander video after that. So, Dadgum Mysticat took a lot of time. That top path, powerful painter, pretty cool. One of the neatest things, speaking of cool, about Amiibo, they've all got a uniform base, and so they just slide out. Something not cool about Amiibo that is uniform across the line is this. If you wonder, like, man, if you love that packaging so much, why didn't you just keep it sealed and use it in-game that way? You can't. With a Skylander, absolutely. If you love the packaging, you don't want to open it up, boom, you're set. Just put it on the portal. Might get inconvenient if you've got, you know, multiple people playing on the same console. Case in point, it's sort of hard to fit a boxed Mysticat and then a loose Pinata, you know, but you can sort of wiggle it around. But with the Amiibo, you either have to open them, pull this out, and then reseal it, or forever keep them sealed and never be able to use them. I want to be able to use them. I also think they look better for display, particularly in a large grouping like that, if they are loose. So, plus, funds do not allow me to purchase one to keep sealed and one to have open. But so the good news is we don't have to spend a lot of time here. It's just Boo, and he looks fantastic. There's kind of this strange body line here, and I'm trying to see what they've done. It's not really focusing for you. See that like strange part line? I'm kind of wondering if the whole thing, I'm trying to tell if this is the white. That's just a horrible look for you. And it's, I mean, it comes around to the front side too, but you know, you've sort of got like an off-white and sort of more of a pure white. And what I'm trying to wonder is like, if this is the glow-in-the-dark coating, or if the interior layer here was glow-in-the-dark and they just put the white over it and somehow it's translucent to a point that it will glow. I really don't know, but that's interesting. The good news is you don't really see the part line, especially if you've got them in a display, say sitting around some of the other villains. In my hopes and dreams, we would get a bullet bill and like a piranha plant and a pipe, you know, later on down the line. There's a lot of options there with Amiibo. But he looks fantastic. And again, I mean, there's really not much for me to say. He's got his mouth open. He's got sharp teeth. He's got the classic blue design. His little arms or flappers are up. And again, you know, he will turn around. He comes forward. You know the drill with Boo's. Little Donut Plains ghost house, right? First time I believe I ever saw Boo. But here he is. Fantastic. And what I'm going to do now, again, for better or worse, had him sitting in the windowsill. I've had him under the light the rest of the time. We're going to hope that he glows in the dark. If not, I've got my cell phone in my pocket. We'll turn the flashlight on. But let's go ahead and see. And hey, for all we know, Toad, maybe he glows in the dark too. So that would be a pretty cool alt deco. If Nintendo did that with amiibo, having like a glowing toadstool, that'd kind of be cool. Nonetheless, let's see what Boo looks like. Oh yeah, you can't really see it well, but I can. Oh yeah, you see nothing. You see absolutely nothing. My apologies on that. You can kind of see it as I move it around like a little celestial orb, but it looks good. It really does. It's just sadly not near bright enough for me to showcase it, sadly. I tell you what you can do if you're at GameStop, you're in there regularly, maybe you can have the employees kill the lights or take you back in the closet and, you know, test it for yourself through the packaging. But I can't really get it to come through on the camera, but rest assured it looks super cool. I'll see if I can maybe get a picture, although I don't know that that would work out any better. Nonetheless, we had to pay full price for this guy, $12.99. I have never seen Boo for sale. I've never seen it online, on eBay, on Amazon, GameStop, Toys R Us, anywhere. I haven't seen him at Toys R Us in a long time. I've only seen him at GameStop. I haven't seen him at Target in forever either. I'm not really in Best Buy or Walmart frequently. I did have to go into Walmart 2 weekends ago when I was checking for Skylanders. They had none, and they also had no amiibo. It is not like a super Walmart, but I mean, they literally had nothing. So I think Boo is one of those ones that might be super rare, and it's probably in your best interest if you have not picked him up and you want him to go ahead and do so. And again, the fact that I can couple him with Koopa and Goomba is just fantastic in my opinion. So that's at $12.99 at GameStop. I think it's a fair price, and again, he glows in the dark, so I believe it's the first amiibo. By the way, Toad did not glow in the dark, if any of you were hopeful for that. But hey, I think you could probably hit him with like a glow-in-the-dark coating, though, if you're into that sort of thing. I think like if you change the white out with like a radioactive green, I mean the red, and then kept the white, I think that would look pretty sweet. But that's another story for another day. This is Boo, GameStop, $12.99. I'd recommend you pick him up if you want him because, again, I've seen him sell out at other retailers and never come back in stock. So play it safe. With Nintendo, unfortunately, it's always a crapshoot, but I think he looks fantastic. He will look right at home in the collection. So that said, oneofwiisdom.com, skylanderclub.com, mindlogics.net. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. I will tweet my videos, any updates, any Skylander or Amiibo hunting I do. Similarly, I will always tweet before I go live, whether it be on Mixer or YouTube, so stay tuned for that. But for myself, Boo, the rest of the Super Mario series, I guess I ought to look for Peach. If I could find her for $8, I'd be pretty happy. And I think Yoshi, I think he's incredibly hard to find in the Super Mario series, but I'll see. Maybe I can work something out. But in my opinion, these are the coolest amiibo, the Super Mario series. They're very bright, very colorful, and for the most part, they've all been readily available, unlike Rosalina. Yeah, Smash Bros. Online, but hey, that's another story. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you back here for more amiibo unboxings from the pool table. Adios.